Welcome to Wake Up TV, the weekly live show that guides you to be more, do more, and suck way less. My name is Zane Miller, executive producer of the shows, along with the host, Mr. Garrett J. White. Give a wave, Mr. Master Mentor Coach.
Hello, my friends. Welcome. Hello, my friends.
Today's show is brought to you by the Wake Up Warrior app. This is the #1 access point to all things Warrior on the web. One application, 100% content, 100% of the time, including the daily and weekly content of Wake Up TV, MP3 radio, Wake Up WOD, the daily rant, the Sunday sermon, all in the palm of your hand, on demand when you want them. Never miss another minute of Warrior action ever again. To get access, go to garrettjwhite.com, click on the Get app at the bottom, and download today. All right, so on to some news about the channel. We want to remind you to share by paying it forward. Every week, myself and Garrett work our asses off to produce quality, powerful web TV for you here on Wake Up TV, and we will continue to do so for a very long time to come. So we don't ask that you invest your money. All that we ask is that you share this with your friends. Subscribe on the YouTube channel so that you can get updated and special video training. Share this video on your social platform with other warriors who you believe that they will get great value from this content. And most importantly, don't just watch the content, live the content. All right? Now, as long as we can agree on those things, let's go ahead and move forward. We invite you to stay forever and as we roll forward with the Wake Up Warrior movement. So today's topic in episode 2, we're talking about the power of questions, the purpose of pain, and the process of production. So let's get started with topic number 1, the power of questions. I got a question for you, Garrett. How the hell are you?
Dude, that was like really official, dude. We were like for all of our viewers out there who are seeing it live, I'm just gonna tell you that was our first attempt at being official. It's hard as shit for us to be official, but we're being as official as we can. I mean, I even got an official microphone. See this?
Look at that.
Yeah. Official. See? I just talk right in. Maybe I should. I guess it sounds a little cooler when I'm up close. I think I'm gonna get one of those like little spit guard things that we used to have in the studio. Does that sound cool when I'm closer? I'm going to keep a little bit further away just because it's a little hard to hold. That's a big-ass microphone. So, dude, I'm excited today. Great intro, bro.
Thank you.
And we're gonna get smoother. And my commitment is here over the next month is that we're going to get Zane into some Wake Up Warrior shirts. As much as I love the donkeys that are on his shirt today, they're fantastic. We love it. But we're going to be propping the Wake Up Warrior movement. My friends, let's jump into the first question. Our first topic for today. Every single week, we're going to be discussing 3 specific topics that have to do with the way you think, the way that you operate, and the results that you're getting. Our phrase here with Wake Up TV is simply this: be more, do more, suck less. So before I get into the first topical conversation for today, let me explain what I mean by this. Your results in life either come down to success or they suck. Now, it doesn't mean you're good or bad. It doesn't mean you're right or wrong. I'm just going to have you consider that your results are either working for you or they're not working for you. And we call results that are working for you success, and we call results that are not working for you suck. Why? Because simply it sounds way cooler than anything else, and suck sounds like fuck, and somehow between the two of suck and fuck, in this whole game, it just makes more sense for me to say it here on this show. So again, be more, do more, suck less. What is this about? It's about becoming more of who you are as an individual, as a warrior, because the bigger you become, the more that you're able to do. This is a function of capacity. And so our show every single week is about committing to that experience of expanding who you are by expanding what you think, and then give you some practical steps along the way. So we're going to move on to our first topic for today is the power of questions. So last night, I had an experience that Zane does not have too often. I got to read stories to my daughter. Zane, you have a daughter I don't know about?
Yes, I do.
You do have a daughter I don't know about?
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even know that you had a daughter.
I don't talk about it a whole lot, but yeah.
Okay, well, now that we know you have a daughter, so you've now had this experience. This is what I love about doing live TV. Because I'm like, Zane, do you even have a daughter? You're like, yes, actually, I do, douchebag. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. You're just my co-host in the show, and I'm just finding out that you have a daughter. But at least we know. At least we know now. All right, so with your daughter, I've had the experience. We have a routine every single night, and our routine is this with my 2 girls. I take them to bed, and we read stories, and then we do back tickles, and I use on my phone a little app known as Pandora, And the Pandora app, oh, look at that. I'm getting my little notification coming through from my Warrior app about getting up on the Wake Up TV here with us. Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Swipe to join us live as we talk. Shout out to Big Money Mobile and all of our teams there, and what we're building with the Warrior app. Fantastic there. Little shameless plug on the app. So anyways, I go down and I have this app on my phone called Pandora. All of you are familiar with this. Zane, you familiar with this app, Pandora?
Yes, I am. I love it. It's one of my favorite
apps. Are you a cheap bastard and use a free one, or do you pay $3.99 a month?
Oh, no, I can't handle the commercials enough every hour or whatever to just say, hey, buy McDonald's. No, thank you. I'll just pay the money and just get the music the way I want it.
You know, I was a cheap bastard for about a year with the Pandora app, and then I had one monumental experience that shifted everything. I was not putting my daughter to bed. I was putting my wife to bed, if you know what I'm saying. And we happened to be engaging in some adult interaction. You might call it sexual intercourse. And in that experience, the Pandora app decided to go to an advertisement for Home Depot. Mid-action here, buddy. Phone is rocking. Pandora is rocking. I mean, we are in the mood. It is like...
Oh, man.
Bow, wow. And all of a sudden, an advertisement for the Home Depot. Immediately upon completion of our experience and unification in our marriage that night, I went downstairs, I grabbed my credit card, and I said, I will never, ever be interrupted again on the Pandora app, and this teaches me and serves me right to be a cheap bastard. So, you know, one of the things that's cool with the Wake Up Warrior app is you don't even have to pay for it. We're just going to give it to you for free. The Pro app that's coming out here in February, yes, you'll get to invest in that one, a whopping $99 for a bunch of other cool tools and experiences involved in that. But let's come back. So I'm having this experience with my daughter last night, which now we found out that Zane has this experience occasionally too. I'm getting to read daughter's stories. Okay, how old is your daughter, by the way?
She's actually, today's her birthday.
Oh, shit. So we know we're not only finding out you have a daughter, but we're finding out your daughter has a birthday today. And how old is she turning today?
She's going to be 10 today.
10 years old, dude. I got a 15-year-old right in the middle of that. 7 and 10. 7, 15, 10. I love it, dude. Congratulations. Well, yeah, I think we should throw a little applause out there for your daughter.
All right, yeah.
I love it. And the fact that you and I are here running the show together, and I finally found out you have a daughter and that her birthday's today. It's all like harmonious rhythm. So last night I'm sitting there reading. We're reading the Bible with my daughter and I. She has this picture one that we're reading back and forth, and she asks me a question. And the question is, who created God? The second question with this was, and who created the stuff before God? And we started back over in her little picture Bible, and we were reading through Genesis in her picture Bible, the light and dark, dividing light from water, or air from water, animals, fish of the sea, land, etc., Adam and Eve, whole 9 yards. And so she asked these questions, and I posted this question up on Facebook with a short video, and got a whole bunch of responses, interesting responses from a bunch of people. But this sparked this conversation even more for me today, which is the power of questions. So, Zane, let's jump over to my screen real quick, and I'm gonna draw out a model that may emphasize it, because see, last night one of the dilemmas that we have with questions as human beings, particularly as adults, is that we stop asking questions. We have decided as a culture in most cases that asking questions is taboo. Yet the interesting thing about questions is that all major revolutions in life, right, whether we're talking about a revolution in your marriage, a revolution in your business, a revolution in the way you market, a revolution in the way you deal with fitness, always was started with considering something that you had not considered before. And that consideration always begins with what? A question. So the question I have for you as we kind of go through this and as I dive into this model is, what is it about you and I as adults that resists this power of questioning? How is it as a child my daughter can feel free to ask the question, well, who created God? And I'm going to write this up there. Who created God? Now, my answer to her was simply this: I don't know. See, and in conjunction with this inability to ask questions, oftentimes as adults, we get ourselves into a place that we not only don't ask questions, but we fall into the trap of, I know that. Meaning we start to assume that we know everything, and the only reason we assume that we know everything is because we're using this as a cover-up to mask the reality of our inability to ask questions. Now, our questioning in every aspect of our life is what leads us to see something we couldn't see before. So let's envision that here I am, and I'm standing here today, and I've got the reality of what I know to be true, what I believe to be true about life, about marriage, about business, about my fitness, about parenting, etc. And then there are my opinions, which aren't even hardly my beliefs. They're just kind of my thoughts about things. And so I grow in these opinions to beliefs to knowledge. And so when we hear people say, well, I already know that. You watch individuals come into this call and they're like, into our show today, and they're like, oh, well, shit, Garrett, I mean, I already know that, dude. The power of questions and purpose of pain, the process of production. I already know that. And the minute you say, I know that, the mind shuts down. On top of this, a shutdown generation of people walk the planet today. We call them numb, dumb, and stupid individuals, ignorant in truly the power that's available to them as warriors, because they simply lack the capacity to even consider the possibility that something in the way they see life might be different than the way they see it. So last night, my daughter asked me a question. She said, who created God? And my answer was, I don't know. She said, well, Dad, who created the stuff before God? And I said, I don't know. And then I turned to her and I said, well, what do you think? See, and one of the things that happens when we are open to asking questions is it creates for us an opening of possibilities inside of us. If you are currently doing business a certain way, if you're currently operating in marriage a certain way, if you're currently operating sexually a certain way in your marriage, if you're currently operating a certain way in the way you parent, the way that you work out, etc., and you're unwilling to ask the questions are what set you free. Hence, there are no openings, there are only closings. And in closings, all that you get is the same thing happening over and over again. So into this experience then, called our perspective, we embed these questions. And these questions can cause quite a terror in our lives because they require us to consider that the way that we currently see things today is not the way it is. And that if we took a sweet little swing over here to tomorrow, that if we started considering some things that we hadn't considered before, our perspective might just expand to give us access to more light, more truth, more knowledge, more possibility, and more realms of doing things. I had never considered the possibility that I could have it all. And here, being in the Warrior's Way conversation, one of the things, and you can go ahead and bring the camera back to me, one of the things that I had really struggled with was asking questions about what was true and not true for me in my life. In my marriage, it was really difficult for me to ask these questions. In my relationship with my family, it's really difficult for me to ask these questions. And yet the questions of what would it take for me to increase intimacy, sexuality, and communication in my marriage? What would I have to do differently? Who would I have to become? What would I have to do to take my business to 7 figures instead of struggle? What would I have to do in order to become a master marketer? What would I have to shift in what I believe about God in order to experience more of what God has to offer for me? And see, you and me, brother, we experience the reality of our truth based upon the quality of the questions that we ask. And so as we shift up here for topic number 1 in today's Wake Up TV episode, I'm going to have you just look at 2 things. Number 1, where are you resisting asking questions? And number 2, consider that the resistance that you have to asking questions is because you're scared. You're scared because it will shake the reality of your current world. And yet the reality of your current world is what's giving you the results that you currently have. If you're not cool with the results you're currently having, the reality that you currently experience must shift. And in order for it shift, it must be open. And in order for it to be open, you got to ask better questions. So that takes us through our first topic for today. Zane, back to you, brother.
Impressive. Awesome. All right, guys. Warriors, you want to subscribe to the Daily Rant. It's the email update that comes from Garrett. Every single day, Garrett gets insane ideas flowing through his head and through his heart. And for over a year now, he's been sharing them on his blog and his Facebook in a format that he likes to call the Daily Rant. This is daily fuel for warriors just like you. These rants are real. These rants are raw. These rants are relevant. And these rants are results-driven. So for email access to the Daily Rant, the daily fuel for warriors just like you, head on over to GarrettJWhite.com and opt in today. Now we are moving on to topic number 2, the purpose of pain. Now I've heard a lot of different opinions of what pain is, and I want to hear it from Garrett.
Yes, you do, my friend. Hey, by the way, a little side note here on the Daily Rant. The Daily Rant, those have typically been shared on my Facebook page. Going forward here, starting next week, All of the Daily Rant will be available via the Wake Up Warrior app as well as through email. Some of you like to read that in your email more than you would through the app, and that's great. You can get notifications through both, again, by going to GarrettJWyatt.com and opting in. And we're going to send you automatically the updates for the day and the updates for the week on the Daily Rant. For those who get overwhelmed by content from me, well, maybe you don't want to do that. For those that can't get enough, that might be a good decision for you. So let's go into this idea of pain. So pain itself is something that I would have you consider as one of the greatest teachers that you and I experience day to day. Without pain, we have no access to power. So if here is where I stand in my reality of what I perceive, okay, coming back to our questions from today, if what I see is available here, then the powerful result that I'm wanting is on the other side of this perception that I experience right here. Now, in between what I currently perceive and the new reality that I'm wanting is a big-ass pit, and that pit itself is filled with pain. Now, come back over my screen. I'm going to draw this shit out. So as I look at this journey then, my experience day to day as you and I are moving from one place to another, I love to draw it out as kind of this big gap, this model. And on one side, I have this prison, and on the other side, I have paradise. And my prison is the current reality of what I don't want. Now, on paradise is the perceived future possibility of what I do want. So when I'm sitting in these two experiences, what I don't want is typically filled with an incredible amount of pain. Meaning I'm in a marriage, I'm in a relationship that's not working. I can remember not too many years ago, but just around 3 years ago, climbing into bed and knowing that my wife was horrifically disgusted with who I was. Needless to say, we were not rocking deep sexual connection with the Pandora app rock and being interrupted by the Home Depot advertisement, right? That was not happening. What was happening was lack of communication, lack of connection, and complete disconnection. There was pain for me to be married to my wife, and there was pain for my wife to be married to me. Rewind 5 years ago and the implosion of my banking business. And what I didn't want was to be facing lawsuits and foreclosure of real estate and imploding and impending businesses in which everything in what I knew financially was disappearing. I didn't want to be in a place where I tore my Achilles tendon once, twice, 3 times, being on crutches for 14 months. In these places, I got very, 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 very clear about what I didn't want. And in this place of getting clear about what I didn't want, right, I started to see the possibilities of what I did want. So when I look at this map then, this pain itself that I see over here in the prison is a very good indicator of what I don't want. As I stand in this place though, and I open my eyes to see the possibility of what I do want sitting over here in paradise, this triggers a forward-moving position of faith known as hope. This hope begins to drive me. This hope gives me fuel. But I have to understand that in order to go to the new place called paradise, I'm going to get to step into what's known as the void. And that void itself is filled with darkness. And this darkness itself is filled with the unknown. It's filled with uncertainty. It's filled with pain. It's filled with the discomfort of growth. Right? So many individuals expect to grow in life. They expect to have more money. And if I'm not back on me, come back on me real quick. Except if they're not coming back to they want something different in their relationship. I wanted something desperately different in my marriage. But up to that point, I had been unwilling to ask questions that would have sparked a new way of doing things. And number 2, I was unwilling to learn from the pain that I was in. See, the key to your liberation with your pain is not simply experiencing pain for the sake of pain, because pain for the sake of pain becomes nothing more than suffering. And suffering, my friend, is a choice. Pain is part of life. Suffering is a choice. Pain is part of life. And so you and I, we experience this growth at the speed at which we can learn from our pain. See, the pain is the indicator. Something is going wrong here, or something is going right here, but the only person who determines what that pain means is you. Some individuals look at the fitness side of things like, oh, it just hurts too bad. They'll go work out one time and they're like, oh, I hurt too bad. I can't work out anymore. This hurts. The pain is too intense. And they retreat back to prison and complain about prison. I'm overweight. I'm tired. I'm sick. I'm this. I'm that. I'm like, okay, cool. The moment that it becomes more painful for you to stay where you are, being unfit, is the moment that you will shift your pain into power. You will learn from the patterns that have led you to the place you are, and you can choose something new to move forward to. But if your pain in your current moment, you do not extract the learning from it, nothing will change. In my marriage, I had to step back and realize that all of this painful indicator was leading me to hope for something new, but I was unwilling to continue to take the steps into pain. See, the first few conversations with my wife were not fun. The first year of trying to resurrect and reestablish a new trust level and commitment in my relationship was very painful. I was so used to opening myself up and being attacked, and she was used to opening herself up and being attacked. I was used to trying things in marketing and business that weren't working, and things wouldn't work over and over and over again, and I would get frustrated, and the pain was like blood, like a fighter, deep into my eyes, and I couldn't see anything. And pretty soon, all of a sudden, the pain is all that you know, and the pain itself doesn't teach you anything because the pain simply becomes a game of survival. See, when pain becomes your teacher, when pain becomes your friend, when you begin to transform the way that you look at pain, and pain itself becomes a driver of fuel for progress, but the only way it becomes fuel for progress is when you extract the lessons of learning. Number one lesson I learned in my marriage: you cannot force another person to do anything. Number two, her path is her path, not my path. My path is my path. Number three, I didn't have a clue what I wanted in my relationship. How in the world could I be clear about what we were building together when I wasn't even clear about who I was and what I wanted in a partner? And so I began to paint this game, and those lessons I began to extract from the pain of my life. And see, every single day you're in pain, every single day you're in pleasure, and every single day you're being taught. People say, Garrett, how do you market so much? How do you put out so much content? I said, simply, my life has become the palette through which I am learning. And I am not trying to get it right. And I'm not trying to not get it wrong. I'm moving forward. Which means I'm going to experience peaks of pain. I'm going to experience pits of pain. I'm going to experience peaks of pleasure. I'm going to experience pits of pleasure. My process, called pain, is the molding force of my life. This morning I did a workout. It was painful, but filled with pleasure. Having conflicting conversations in my marriage are painful, filled with pleasure. Challenging and dealing with bullies who are bullying my daughter is a challenging, painful reality for me, yet there's pleasure found in it because of the growth in which we get to have the conversations. So topic number two is simply this: as you look into your world, where are you avoiding the pain, and how can you start learning the lessons of life from the pain in order to move forward towards hope and the desired outcome that you're looking for? So that brings us to a conclusion. Topic number two, back to you, Zane, as we wrap up this game.
Awesome. So before we move on to topic number three, you guys need to check out the video series over at wakeupwarrior.com. There's close to 1 million views on those videos in 2013 alone. This 6-part video series was the catalyst to launch the Wake Up Warrior movement in the first place. Now, according to Garrett, it is the keystone content of the entire game. During this 4-part series, Garrett will dive into the Warrior's Way, the Warrior's Dilemma, the Warrior's Path, the Warrior's Code, the Warrior's Question, and the Warrior's Challenge. Now, to gain free access to the video series and find out what the excitement has been all about, jump on and check out the video series over at wakeupwarrior.com. Now we're going to move on to topic number 3, and this is the process of production. Garrett, tell us about production.
So the first time I started really diving into this idea of production, I had to understand it conceptually. Meaning I was getting it, I was making money in business, I was producing results in life, but as I started to break down the science of what I'm going to share with you right now, this process of what I call value creation, it all made sense to me. So jump over here to the screen real quick, Zane, and let me draw this out for him. So consider that life and production come down to two things. There are problems and there are solutions. And you and I, day to day, are facing problems to which we are searching for solutions, and we are producing solutions that other people are currently facing as problems. So making money and producing results is about creating and producing value. Now, I'm not foolish enough to believe that doing this TV show every single week, launching our radio show M3 on Wednesdays, dealing with the daily rant, putting money into the Warrior apps, driving forward a movement around the marketplace and around the world now, these games are about solving problems and producing solutions. And I understand that there is dollars connected to value creation. And that the individuals in today's marketplace who can produce the highest level of value are the ones who are going to get paid the most. But to do this, we have to understand that you, as an individual, have a series of specific problems that, based upon your painful past, you have been qualified to solve. These problems you have found solutions to, and the marketplace is looking for areas of solutions to the problems that you have. I'll give you an example. My daughter started doing rainbow looms, and to get rainbow looms figured out, she jumps over to YouTube, and there are women who have produced what? Solutions in the form of YouTube training videos for little girls like my daughter at 7 who have problems trying to create new different versions of the rainbow loom bracelet, and just happen to be connected to the fact that now I pay around $10 a month for my daughter to continue to access some of these training videos that take her deeper into making more sexy rainbow looms so that I can put them on my arm every night and have them fall off in the sheets somewhere when I go to bed. We've got like a bunch of them in the bed. I don't know where they go. It's like disappearing socks. I don't know. So you then first have got to get access to what are the problems that you have solved in your life that you can provide in value and service to the marketplace. The second piece of this is, what are the current problems in your life that you are needing solutions to? Our day-to-day experience when it comes to producing value comes down to you and I's capacity every single day to produce more value in the marketplace than we consume. This production of value can come in the form of free information. It can come in the form of paid information. It can come in the form of products. It can come in the form of services. It can come in the form of solutions that are offered up to individuals around the world to solve the problems that they are experiencing. Our goal is to produce primarily. Our secondary experience is to consume. So the process of production is to understand that we are both consumers and we are producers, but that you and I day-to-day get a choice. You can go ahead and come back to me on the camera. The choice is simply this, my friend, and the choice is, are you a producer or are you a consumer? A consumer is one who feels entitled to extract value from the marketplace when they've contributed very little. A producer is an individual who, yes, consumes, and most producers consume more than anyone else in the marketplace. Why? Because they produce significantly more in the marketplace. My focus every single morning is not how do I get paid by doing nothing. My focus in life is how do I get paid by creating and committing to create epically high levels of value in the marketplace. So we'll continue this topic in our show next week, but I wanted to tap into this last idea. I know we're running short on time. You have a choice on these three topics every single day. Number one, does my pain itself allow me to learn? Number two, do my questions and the type of questions line up with the process and the power that I'm finding from the lessons in my pain? And third, have I found a way to start producing and creating value? Even something as simple as sharing my thoughts about the lessons I've learned and the painful realities I've experienced yesterday and the solutions I found on something like Facebook or YouTube. My friends, this formula of these three topics can lead you to places of power and possibility in your life in all areas if you choose to take them on. So Zane, back to you here with the final wrap-up.
Awesome, thanks. Now, from what I'm seeing in these three topics, especially with this show, from what I've gathered from it, is that you got to ask the right questions, and you also have to be brave enough to move forward to follow through with the answers that you get and produce something, and that's going to be painful, but you got to get over it because you know what? This is what we're meant to do, is to ask these questions and produce and push ourselves. So with that, ways to be able to do this is to go over to GarrettJWhite.com and download the Warrior app. You definitely want to get that because it's everything the Warrior's way in the palm of your hand so that you don't have to sit down at a computer. You don't have to sit down at a computer and watch these videos. You can watch them just through the app. we also want to encourage you guys to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can stay up to date on the videos that are being produced beyond just this one show. And then, of course, we want to make sure that you guys go over to GarrettJWhite.com and subscribe to the daily rants, all the messages that come from Garrett's heart and from his brain, so that you can be plugged in always to the Warriors Way and the movement. And thank you for having me here and joining you in your show, Garrett. I'm always happy to help you broadcast your message. And that's it for me. What do you got?
I love it. Well, my friends, as we wrap up today's episode 2, here's the fun thing about production. I'm gonna put a little side note here. I'm excited for like 6 months from now when people just start tuning into Wake Up TV and they'll come back and they'll see episodes like we did last week and like we do this week, and they're gonna go, oh shit, you guys have come a long way. Yet the funny thing is getting this off the ground was so important to me and Zane this year, and we appreciate you guys being here, our original adopters to the core of this message. Here's what I can tell you is our commitment as we go forward with Wake Up TV. We're going to continue to get more and more interactive. We'd love your feedback on things that you're liking, things you're not liking, what you'd like to try. I am a ruthless executor with attempting new shit and trying new shit. We're going to keep pushing this show forward. I hope that today's show added value to you and that it got you thinking on these 3 different topics. As you go forward today, remember the 3 key phrases here of Wake Up TV: be more, do more, and suck less. And the way we go about doing this is using the Warriors Code for power in today's marketplace, which comes down to the simple formula of authenticity. Be real, get raw, and stay relevant with a ruthless commitment to creating big-ass results today. Thanks so much for being here. My name's Garrett J. White, the Master Coach Mentor, signing off with Zane, who, by the way, we found out has a 10-year-old daughter and her birthday is today. Coming at you from Wake Up TV. We look forward to seeing you next week.